Pregame.tv, let's head to Colorado. Rockies going ahead, taking on the Marlins. A little bit of a funky start time, 6:40 local time. Going to take a look at the total on this game. Bryan Leonard, hasn't been much scoring. I'm looking at the scoreboard. The last 5 days looks like a bunch of soccer games here in MLB. 3-1, 2-0, 4-1. More of the same?
No.
No.
I still don't agree.
You don't like the soccer?
I don't like your premise on this whole.
Yeah, it's like the third inning. I'm showing Brian. See, it's a 1-0 score. It's going under.
They have these things called bullpens. They haven't got to the bullpens yet. We talked a couple weeks ago about teams to bet in the second half, and I talked about the Miami Marlins as a team I thought was going to have a lot of success because they're going to bring up a lot of good young studs. Well, they called up two of them today. They called up two outfielders, Christian Yelich and Jake Marisnick, to start in the outfield. And, in fact, they had a guy they called up earlier this year, Ozuna, who they just sent back down to the minors, but he looked really good. So they're pretty well stocked in the outfield. They got Stanton out there, who everybody wants, but they don't want to trade.
They're going to win 63 games for me because I got them over 63 wins.
I got them under this year.
You saw the market move on that, right? The tons of money right at post.
Really?
And you probably got it early when they were.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge play for me, but
haven't won exactly 63 or 64. I'm sure we'll both get there.
We'll see. But as I talk about the Miami team that we might be able to get some value on in the future, I'm actually going to look for this game to be a low-scoring game here. Colorado is normally thought of as high-scoring, a lot of home runs, but basically Colorado is one of those fields that it's got a lot of gap power. You see more doubles in Colorado than anything. You've got to have really fast outfield, and I think Miami, with their new outfielders, young outfielders, are going to really help them there.
Do you know that they're fast, or are they just young?
They're just young.
Okay, probably.
But they steal bases. That doesn't mean they're fast. That just means they have some ability on the base paths. But if you get a bunch of outfielders, I mean, and Stanton's a good athlete, but Stanton's not. He's just more muscular than he is like a guy who's going to be diving for balls and running them down in the gaps. But I want to take a look at this game to go under. I really like these two pitchers here. Jacob Turner came over from Detroit to Miami. Since he came off, they sent him down to the minors beginning of the year. He was supposed to be in the rotation, did not pitch well in the spring training. And they sent him down to the minors. He corrected a few things. And ever since he's been up, he's been very consistent. His worst start, he's allowed 4 runs in 6 innings. That's his worst start on the season. 2 runs or less in 7 of 9 starts, pitched very well. You go back the last 2 years when he pitched to Detroit and Miami, he's only given up a .234 opponent batting average. So this is a guy, he's not a big strikeout guy, but he's pitching in a good pitcher's park in Miami. He's a ground ball pitcher, so he's not going to get hurt with the fly balls here in Colorado. I think this guy has a lot of value, and so one of the reasons I like this game is because of him on the mound.
Very good. Do you think, have you checked the weather in Colorado as far as the temperature? Here in Vegas, since it's 108 degrees, I'm always worried. It's like, Yeah,
well, obviously, when the weather warms up in Colorado, the ball is going to fly.
Right.
Which is why I like this game, because they had 2 ground ball pitchers.
Right.
It's something you always have to keep in mind. If you've got like an aging veteran, and especially guys who don't strike out a lot of people, put a lot of balls in play. In fact, the 2 guys, as we're taping this, the 2 guys in the Yankees game tonight, both pitchers are fly ball pitchers pitching in Texas in the middle of July. Regardless of what the numbers say, it would be hard for me to play that game under because of that situation.
Yeah, it's like an Alan Dinkinson special. I heard Dink on the radio, and he's like, like Colorado, a lot of times it'll be in May, it'll be like 50 degrees, and then all of a sudden they'll have that heat wave, and it goes up to 85, and they'll set the line on the total for 2 games at 8.5, and they've forgotten that, that's right, the ball's going to carry another 15, 20 feet, with that temperature. I don't know why it is with the low humidity, the ball carries further when the temperature really spikes. But I'm not a meteorologist, can't tell you what.
There's actually a book out there. Can't think of the name of it right now. Johnny's talked about it in the Johnny Detroit in the pregame forums. He's talked about it, and I bought it. And it's the dullest book you've ever want to read in your life. But they do talk about that, dew points, humidity, and all that.
I've read dull books.
You've read dull books, okay.
I've really read dull books.
So you'll find this interesting then.
But it talks about how far the ball travels.
Yeah, it talks about how many extra feet it travels based on humidity and dew point temperature and all this other stuff.
Sure, yet another thing to go ahead and
one
read.
More thing.
Although I did love Trading Bases. I read that. That was
very good.
That was a spot-on book if no one's read that. Let's go ahead and make this one official here.
All right. All right, we're going to play the under here. I talked about how much I like Turner. De La Rosa is one of those guys that when he's healthy, he's a good pitcher. And he's been healthy this year. He's held 10 of 11 opponents to 3 earned runs or less. Nobody scored more than 4 earned runs in 11 starts for De La Rosa. As I mentioned, he's a ground ball pitcher, 2.96 ERA at home on the season. But he's had trouble staying healthy. But when this guy's healthy, he's a good pitcher. Right now he's healthy. We'll play this game under.
Outstanding. I like it.
All right.
And, of course, I like all unders post All-Star break until that salami beats me. Four straight unders on the salami, about to be 5. And it's funny because you said to me, well, you gave out the salami 3 straight days to go under. Why didn't you keep doing it till it lost? And there's something to be said for that. You know,
as long as you're getting a fair number.
It sounds funny because you hear that all the time where you bet a streak and you're like, well, you can only lose once, and you can win an infinite amount of times.
Problem
it sounds
is,
stupid.
You lose once every other time, 50% of the time.
Yeah, it's not.
Nobody ever mentions
choppy,
that.
But we have one guy that goes to our Tuesday group meeting, and all he does is play streaks, and he wins literally every year in baseball, taking these good teams, and he lays $1.40 instead of $1.30, and then they're mobbing guy with the cream pie after hitting the walk-off home run. The one thing I got to tell you about this, if I can, real quick before we go to break here. I hate when I hear, oh, the guy hit the walk-off inside the park home run. And he's like running around the bases.
Yeah, it's
like,
not a walk-off.
Yeah, the walk-off is the walk or the home run. The walk-off is not a bunt single walk-off, you know?
By the way, you mentioned the slamming people in the face with a shaving cream pie. I'm assuming that's what they're using. What's going to happen when they break somebody's nose? Because they just rear back and just ram it right in their face. It's going to be like the Angels player who hit the grand slam. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. But
I heard Kendry Morales in Morales.
Oh, Kendry Morales.
Kendry Morales.
Pretty close, though.
You can see I follow my baseball. I'm like, in English, please help me produce.
Yeah.
We got Barry in the background. He's like, hey, I'm doing the best I can with the guys I got here running point. You know, we might want to bring in a baseball guy. So, but along that line, who's the red-skinned guy that headbutted him when he got in the end zone and it gave himself a concussion? Gus Farrat. He followed up Farrat.
Okay, more trivia for Barry.
The field goal kicker, one of the brothers, tore his ACL jumping up and down, celebrating.
Gramatica. I couldn't tell you which Gramatica.
Automatica, yeah. Automatica ACL. So, Barry, you're put in your resume. You're coming here.
You teach me how to run the machine. You can take my.
Yeah, can I help run the machine? No, we'll call you. Don't call us. We'll call you, Steve. It's time for a break. Hey, I'm really excited. Pregame.tv. We are going to talk football. We got a college football week 1 free play for me, and we've got an NFL game of the year. No, just a free play on that game of the year. So stay tuned with us, pregame.tv.